much, everybody, for joining in with this webinar tonight. And my name's Julie Fiedler. I'd invite Liz to introduce herself.
Hi, well, my name's Liz Van Ross, and I live in Normandy, France, and I am the founder of a company called Normandy Equine. So
Excellent.
There you go.
I just wonder if you could tell us a little bit about the company and about your work, Liz.
Sure. Well, I started riding like a lot of people when I was very, very young, and ran into quite a few problems along the way. So actually learning how to ride wasn't the problem. It was then thinking that I was able to train a horse just because I knew how to ride a horse. Yeah. And that's where problems began. So I then went on a big search for the last 35 years of my life, roaming around the world, sort of pursuing horses left and right, and really delving into how people work horses. And I didn't just do the traditional. So I went into the world of rodeo, I went into the world of saddlebreds in America, and Tennessee walking horses and that sort of thing. Did all sorts of different sports, so carriage driving, yep. Not a lot, but did a bit of that. Endurance, polo, you name it. I delved into every world of horse related sort of activities, including the mounted police in England. I was married for a while to the chief, well, not the chief inspector, the training inspector, pardon me, of the London Mounted Police. So that was exciting. Did quite a bit of work with that and saw how they used their horses and how they trained them. So, and in doing all of that, gathered a lot of information that I then put to work to really start to it wasn't the horses that worried me. The horses were the easy part. They were the lovely, easy bit. It was really explaining to human beings how horses function on different levels, not just for what we want from them.
And so with your work, do you run clinics or you have online courses? How do people sort of interact with you? And I believe you might even have some accommodation at your residence as well for visitors.
Yeah, I do actually. I have the main house that has some bedrooms available, and I also have 3 cottages. One has 5 bedrooms and the other 2 cottages have 2 bedrooms each, so plenty of room for people to come and stay. I have demo horses here as well, so even if people can't bring their own horse, I've got horses here and can always bring horses in. There's plenty of horses around that need help. And what I do is I teach a mixture of body work and understanding how horses function on an emotional level as well as on a physical level. So there's a lot, and they do go hand in hand. You know, you can't address one side of it and not the other. I love all of the horsemanship work that's being done by some absolutely amazing people out there at the moment. But the missing link I've always felt is between the science, the horsemanship, and the anatomy of the horse. All must be considered to be able to explain to the horse what it is we want from them. You can't just focus on one of those areas and have a happy, healthy horse. It just isn't going.
Excellent.
So yes, I do. Sorry, to answer your questions, I do offer. I've got intensive clinics that happen at my house. You come for a week. The price includes your food, it includes your housing, and it includes the training. The training is very intense. It's long days of a lot of theory as well as hands-on practical work. I do clinics all over the world, and I am in the middle of them at the moment of producing not an online course, but what we've done is we've broken down the system into small steps, which we call tools. And each tool can be bought individually. And then when you have absorbed the tool and you've successfully applied it with your horse or horses, you can then buy the second tool, and each tool builds one on the other. So that's how we sort of get the information out there to everyone.
Excellent. Now, I've got a note here that you're looking at running a conference next year called For the Love of the Horse. So
Yes.
Tell us a bit more about that.
Why we're trying to get this conference going is because we want to start to bring and this is my favorite line of all time, is we're not trying to change the world. What we're doing is offering the world a change. So we are bringing people in that can really explain to people looking for a difference, looking for different ways to interact with their animals, so that they don't end up at the abattoir. And the fact of the matter is that even if you buy a horse very inexpensively, you don't want, you're going to put a lot of time and money into him or her anyway. And ideally, it would be nice if she could be a companion to you until she's 30, not just be broken and ready to be put in a can by the time she's 9. So that is really what we're looking at.
Oh, thought I heard a dog there.
My dog is joining in, yes.
Okay, so what kind of themes will you be looking at for the conference, do you think?
Well, we've split it into 3 categories. Now, there's such a big response at the moment that we may have to drop one of the categories. But at the moment, the first category is the development of the adult sport horse. And when we talk about sport, we're not talking about high-level sport. We're talking about people who even just want to hack out. I mean, it is an athletic endeavor to take your horse hacking or trail riding. I'm not sure what they call it in Australia, but also it could be that you want to pursue horseball, or that you want to do show jumping or eventing, the sort of classical types of things, or that you want to do some endurance or join in, etc. Any of those things require certain things from the horse, and the basis upon which we develop that will either mean the success or failure for the individual animal. We are then looking at how we deal with horses from conception to putting the horses under saddle. So a lot of studies are being done at the moment that are really showing that weaning young horses at the age of 6 months is way too young, that we're arresting brain development and emotional development in the horse, especially horses that then find themselves in a field full of juveniles without any adult horses accompanying them. So that's going to be discussed. And then the third one, and I think the most important one for me, is human behavior. Why do humans behave the way they do towards horses? How do humans gather the knowledge that they have and then turn that knowledge into unshakable convictions that tend to lead them to conflict? And then also physically, horses are very big stimulus to our nervous system, usually stimulating us to do the wrong thing for the horse rather than the right thing for the horse. And if it's wrong for the horse, I can assure you eventually it's wrong for the rider as well. So those are the 3 topics that we're really looking at. We're also going to have a big arts show.
Oh, fantastic.
Part of it. And trade fair. So there's going to be people there with interesting new saddle designs, and there's a lot of the French population are very much into homeopathy, so there's going to be people there with different herbs, different lines of products that are trying to go back more towards nature rather than staying so much with the worlds that we would live in.
Excellent.
So that's, and it's going to be held at the Haras de Saint-Lô, which is one of the national studs. It is absolutely stunning. We're having a gala dinner on the Saturday night, which will be beautiful French food and, champagne and wine flowing, of course. It is France, so we have to do that, and beautiful cheeses and all of that. So there's going to be an awful lot of good Norman fun things to do, as well as really delving into this dilemma of horse-human relations.
Yep. Okay. Next question. I've read in your bio that you do something with the Masterton technique. You might have to phrase that properly for me.
Yeah.
And how does that help the human-horse relationship?
So I studied with Jim Masterson, who I believe has started now to teach in Australia. So it is available in Australia. It's a fantastic course. I did it in 18 months. It's quite intensive. And what we do, and the thing I love about Masterson and what it really teaches people to do, is to keep being lighter and lighter. So when we first approach a horse that we're treating, we're going to use what's called the bladder meridian technique. You can look this up online. You just look up the Masterson method, and it's right there on their webpage. You can look it up, play with it. It's great. We're trying to get every horse owner in the world to know about the bladder meridian and how to do the technique. But what I think it teaches the most is that when the horse is not so as we go into the technique and the horse is not necessarily displaying the responses that we're looking for, rather than going heavier, which will just make the horse shut off completely and you're never going to get where you want to go, you've got to go lighter. So that means that your fingers actually touching the horse must lighten. Now, if everybody could understand that and do the same when they're riding, instead of getting heavier with more leg, more rein, more leg, but get lighter and lighter and lighter, their response, the response from the horse would be much, much more pleasing. But we're human beings, right? And more is better for most of us. You know, don't take one aspirin, take two, because that'll kill the pain twice. Don't take, you know, the correct dose of antibiotics, take the whole bottle, because that'll do it. You know, that's the kind of mentality that we have, because we're predators and we tend to be sort of a bit of, you know, control freaks because of it. So that is, to me, what one of the things that Masterson method does the best. As far as the horse is concerned, it is also one of the only times that the human is doing something where he's giving to the horse rather than taking from the horse. So the horse really, really appreciates that. So if we're going to talk about sentience, you know, the fact that the horse can recognize when something is being done for him as opposed to having something taken from him all the time, definitely, you know, leaves you with a much better relationship with your animal.
Excellent. Okay, as we're wrapping up this little introduction to you, will you be coming back to Australia in the future, do you think?
Absolutely. I love Australia. I'm not coming right now because apparently you've got a lot of fires. But yes, absolutely. I have quite a few friends, including yourself, Julie, you know, that I would love to visit. But yes, definitely putting together some things with some of you. There's a friend of mine called Melissa Alexander that we're trying to put some clinics together. So absolutely. And of course, absolutely love Andrew and Manuela McLean. So we'd love to come and visit them again in their new place that they have. So yes, I will definitely be making the trip over probably next year.
Excellent. So what we'll do with this recording is put your contact details underneath it when it goes online. And if anybody would like to contact you personally, you prefer email or Facebook?
I prefer email. I am on Facebook, but I'm not a big Facebook user. But yes, I do like to check my emails. So definitely email would be the best.
Excellent. So is there anything else you'd like to say? Otherwise, I think we will wrap up there. And thank you very much for your time.
Oh, that's fine. That was perfect. That was absolutely great.
Excellent. Yeah. We'll look forward to hearing more about the conference too, and we can put some links up online when that comes through. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Bye.